I have a nothing. I have a burger. Star Wars.
Disney is definitely wasting our time now because this was stupid. It's not that it was like genuinely bad or anything. Like it wasn't offensive. It was just pointless.
Nothing happened. Why did nothing happen? Like literally, I am worse off for watching. I could have spent time looking at my beautiful children's faces.
You could have scrolled the Wikipedia. It's 6 episodes. It sounds big.
Oh, so you get like 3 hours, 4 hours of content?
Yeah, you're like, wow, I get 6 hours for May the 4th. That's great.
It's an hour and a half max?
Not even that, yeah. Each episode is max 15 minutes, and then they also have like more credits than they probably should, plus
an
the
intro
that just shows masks. And then it comes up with the title of each episode, and then it comes up with like Tales of the Empire. Like it shows you so many things. And it's only broken up into 6 different parts because it's 2 stories. So then we're only getting like 40 minutes of each story, which is like 2 episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
And
they still
that
get
does
less
way
in there.
less. Yeah.
It's because it's characters we already know as well. I say no very lightly there. Like the second story about Baris is a little bit more. We know her more. She was actually part of the TCW. Whereas in the first one, it's Morgan Elsbeth, who I don't remember anything about her from Ahsoka.
No,
like
God,
she's pretty mysterious the whole time, and she's a witch. We know she's a witch.
But like no one asked.
No
one asked.
Actually, I was like, who is this chick? But I was never like, damn, I wonder.
Yeah, no one
was murdered.
No one wanted to know. I wonder what her origin was that led her to be the ruler of this small planet or small colony.
Small town. Yeah. You know the worst part about that is I'm still wondering that.
Yeah. All that happened was they cut out not the interesting part, but they went from like poor girl. Oh, by the way, spoilers. Who cares?
No.
Can you spoil something that doesn't exist?
Yeah.
So it goes from like poor girl whose family and tribe was slaughtered to bang, I work for a town as their magistrate
to
and
the Empire,
I try to sell ideas to the Empire.
Yes. And that is literally each episode. Oh, I mean, you missed the 3rd episode, which is she's bad now.
Which is revenge.
Yeah. Well, like revenge on who?
Revenge on everyone who's wronged her.
Because episode 1, it's literally, you said the plot. I barely need to say it. But episode 1, she's on Dathomir with all of her Night Sister and all the Night Mothers. Grievous comes to wipe them out with the droid army because the Night Mother pissed off Count Dooku in the Clone Wars.
Which we don't know that
they don't
from just this show.
You need to have done your homework, which is, again, what I wrote about the Bad Batch. The worst part is it's not just like, oh, you need to watch this episode of the Clone Wars. It's you need to watch an entire season of the Clone Wars because the way the Clone Wars comes out is it's not in chronological order. Yeah. It's random assorted bullshit and then like a filler episode. And then they'll go back in time, but they don't tell you that because the Clone Wars is a fucking
You're just going to see what kind of haircut Anakin has or something?
No, he's a 3D model. He looks the same for the entire time. The only way to do it is to look up the Wikipedia to find out what comes first and watch it in chronological order, which I recommend. So you have to have watched all that to find out that Count Dooku was pissed at the Night Mother, so he sent Grievous to fuck all the Night Sisters over, which he doesn't even do successfully because you see him later in Rebels, but whatever. And then Morgan Elsbeth, who doesn't speak for the first half of the episode, and she yells, "Mother!" And then it's like, oh, cool. And then she's vengeful, and she tries to take on the droids, but she uses the mountain witches to try to do it. That fails, they die, and then that's the end of the episode. Yeah. So it's like, there's not even a resolution, it's just people die. So we're like, okay, I guess we're flashing forward in time because we have another episode.
That first episode makes you think like, oh, we're made to feel bad for this person.
She's 100% the protagonist, despite what my comments will tell you. Where they're like, she's not the good guy now. It's like, she's the protagonist. They wipe out her people in front of us, and she's crying. And we're like, okay, yes, this is our sympathetic character. This is who we want her to win.
The character that gets the most screen time is getting shit on the most.
Yes, and she's against General Grievous, who is a big evil robot.
This is literally the first sentence of Wikipedia of what is the main character, you know? Yep. She's getting the most screen time, and we're made to sympathize with this character. Yeah.
They kind of accomplished that, I guess. Like, realistically, if that's what they're going for, you're like, oh yeah. In the second episode, though, we flash forward, she suddenly works for the Empire.
Does she, though?
She's the magistrate of a town, I guess, but she's selling the plans of the Tri-Fighter from Rebels, which is interesting for the sole thing that you're like, that's about how long that lasts. But she's a genius engineer now that makes blueprints.
Yes, and she understands everything about the economics of building these things and like the resources used to get them.
She's also like, oh, the old trilithium drive wasn't powerful enough to accommodate
All
this.
I did was simply add a third
Flux capacitor.
Dilithium crystals.
Dilithium crystals.
And they're like, yes, the resources would be too much to build these, but we're going to strip mine your colony.
They're like, how can you afford to pay this? And she's like, oh, my planet is super rich in resources. Also not her planet. I liked that one section because I was like, oh, it's the Empire being absolute bureaucratic wankholes, which is funny because that's what they always said the Senate was. Fantastic. Because he's like, oh, those ships will cost a lot. Stormtroopers are way cheaper. Like, we'll just let one die and we can build 50 ships for the price of this one. And that's why I like that part of the Empire and why I still want an Empire show. They're not going to give me. They're not going to do it.
You got Andor, kind of.
The smallest bit of that is the ISB, and I love it.
She goes back to her planet.
Which we only know if you've watched The Mandalorian.
Yes, you're like, hey, this looks kind of familiar.
I know that bridge.
It's the little village where Mando gets his Beskar staff spear from, and Morgan comes back and she's like, I'm sorry, they're coming to get our resources, and they're like, we trusted you, witch, burn her, kill her, and then she just like retreats for like 10 years.
But she has like a whole monologue where she's like, damn, these guys will really turn on you for nothing. And it's like, no, you just told them they were going to strip mine their planet.
And then you see what happens, like whatever time skip, and you're like, oh yeah, these people should hate you. They're under fucking your thumb.
The third episode, she's like a complete dictator of this little magistrate town like you see in The Mandalorian. And she's working them all to the bone, like, oh, you have to work around the clock. And it's like, yes, this is why they hate you. Like,
and it's like,
this bitch is a genius.
It's like, oh no, wait, the New Republic is back to like try and offer an olive branch. And
that's
she's like,
how far in time it was.
Kill them all. It's like,
they went from like Empire times. She's been strip mining this planet till the new Empire. Yeah, it was years and years and years that they were doing this, and they just cut between it. So it's like her story literally is her people get wiped out. She goes to work for the Empire for a bit. She becomes a dictator of a little town.
And then wants revenge.
And there's nothing around that. It's literally just like, that is what happens. It's not any deeper than that. It's not like, oh, that's the setup for each episode. It's literally, the episode starts, she says, I'm a dictator, and then the episode ends. And it's like, why the fuck did I just waste 14 minutes on this?
I would have just liked one feature-length episode that came out like prior to the next season of Ahsoka.
Yep.
That was just this.
Just give like a little, this is her life. This is your life, Morgan Elsbeth. They didn't give us anything that we didn't already know.
Yeah.
Because we watched Mando, we already knew she was the dictator of a little town. Because of her talking to the Night Witches later on in Ahsoka, and I think she even says like, they wiped out my planet. We know that they wiped out her planet.
Yeah.
But also we don't know why she's angry and vengeful or why she goes through Thrawn. Because there's a scene where she has a chat to Thrawn. And then they're both like, yeah, for the glory of the Empire. Even though the Empire was born from the people that killed her people.
Yes.
So it's like, why is she even friends with them?
Yeah,
how is she an engineer?
You'd think, unless this is their super big brain and they're like, no, she wants revenge on them. And she's going to destroy him from the inside. But
they did it
That's
wrong.
not where they're going with her story.
And on the thing, it's story by Dave Filoni too. Someone wrote it, but the story was by him. They were like, oh, what do you want to happen in this episode? And he's like, but she's working for the Empire? And they're like, yeah, story credit. It's stupid.
Excellent. Do 10 minutes of work.
Yeah, they must have rushed this out, honestly. It felt shit.
The only kind of interesting bit was like you get to see Thrawn a bit at the end, be a bit of like a madman.
He sounds better, like he's thin.
He's thin.
He didn't pack on those intergalactic pounds. But that's really all there is to say about the Morgan Elsbeth. So then we have our next 3 episodes, which are slightly more interesting because Baris is more interesting and you get some lightsabers.
You get fighting.
Yeah, you get a little bit more
lightsaber fighting
into
the Force and
Inquisitorium.
You see kind of like the inner workings of how like the Inquisitors are a bit, and
which, if anything, almost kind of just raises more questions because like that's a lot of fully adult Jedi that were turned to the dark side about the same time that Anakin was.
Yeah.
Like, I always kind of pictured it more as like they were younger and they were raised into it.
Yeah.
But this is immediately after the Rise of the Empire on Empire Day. Baris gets let out of her cell. Baris is the person that framed Ahsoka. And
gotta watch the Clone Wars to know that.
You gotta watch a whole season of the Clone Wars. Ahsoka's final season. And then she gets framed. It's all very sad. But that's who that is. So she basically decided that the Jedi were bad. So not really the whole Anakin maneuver of like, from my view, the Jedi are evil. She was more like, the Jedi have become what they swore to destroy. So I no longer like them. And the Inquisitorious people took that to mean she's going to go hunt and kill Jedi now. And she's not completely on board, but she thinks that the Empire is going to be better than the Jedi because she believes that the Jedi tried to kill the Chancellor which all this stuff is almost subtextual. Like, you just kind of get this from watching more than anything they implicitly put in. Like, you have to combine everything you know about Star Wars to get anything out of this. But Baris goes to work for the Inquisitors, and then the episode ends.
I mean, the whole thing of what you were saying before is like, it's almost like the point of Star Wars is like the villain talks for long enough and you're like, they kind of have a point. When we were watching, like Dan was catching me up on like Clone Wars and like where Baris comes from. Like when she's like doing her little spiel in front of the council, you're like, Anakin's thinking she kind of got a point, huh?
Yeah, she's standing in front of Palpatine about to send Ahsoka to death or exile or whatever. Yeah, Anakin's just like in the background like, oh, fuck.
Damn. He's like, am I nodding? Fuck, am I nodding? Was I nodding in my head or out loud?
Out loud nodding.
Anyway, she gets found by the Inquisitors and like put through like a quick little training montage.
Little montage,
and they're like, Rise, Inquisitor
number 5 or something,
whatever. And
she gets a hat. She gets a fun
we see
hat.
A fun little cameo of Gas Inquisitor.
Yeah, Marek's in it for some reason.
It's like, oh,
which is
hey.
his first appearance outside of Ahsoka, as far as I know.
Yeah, and Reaper from Overwatch.
Reaper was in Tales of the Jedi.
Oh, really?
So he was in the previous one, only for like a shot.
He looks cool though.
He does. He looks like Reaper too much though. It's too much Reaper.
Die. But yeah, like she goes on her first Inquisitor mission, or I guess
that's
what's
episode 2.
To be.
Episode 1 ends with her killing her other Jedi youngling bestie, because again, there's just so many Jedi that were like, "Yep, I'm a bad guy now."
Well, these are all guys who the Jedi, I guess, had locked up, so they were like, "We could use these people."
And again, that's a lot of people that's a lot of Jedi for the Jedi to have been like, "Whoa, can't trust this guy." NSL. It just feels like too many. I don't know. It just feels strange.
Your religion is failing you, Jedi.
It makes Anakin feel less important that he, like in the Clone Wars, it was interesting that Baris turned, because then it showed Anakin a couple of things. It showed Anakin some flaws, and then Ahsoka left as well and was like, no, dude, the Jedi kind of suck. And so it adds a lot more than
Anakin's like one of 4 or 5 people now in his time.
9 Inquisitors, I think. There's the Grand, and then they go up through 7th Sister.
Yeah.
Or 7th
but at least
brother.
like in his time, in that like little section
in the space of
Baris,
like a week.
yeah, like he at least knew of them in that time.
Yeah, and they're all adults too. Like Lynn, who is in the Obi-Wan show for like a scene, gets yelled at. I think that chick. I think
it ends with them meeting Darth Vader for the first time.
She gets knighted, which could have been interesting. Because again, they knew each other from the Clone Wars. They fought. Like Anakin put her in prison, but they don't. They just cut. They're just like, nope, we're getting out of here. And then the second episode is she's in charge of hunting down a Jedi, and then they go do that. Like that's how simple these episodes are. The first episode of Baris I was kind of interested in. It had more going for it.
Yeah.
But then the second episode, they just cut to them on the most generic 10-minute mission ever of go to town, ask
more
where the Jedi is.
experienced Inquisitor is more cutthroat and sticks to the rules more than she does.
Why is she so evil too? Like, she's very evil.
Yeah.
And then the town says, oh, we don't know where the Jedi is. And then she's like, liars, and she kills all of them except a child. And Baris is like, damn, maybe these guys aren't so cool either. And then they go hunt down a Jedi that is trans. I don't know if I want to include that. I don't even want to say it because it's stupid and it doesn't matter. And they barely even mention it. And you have to like look into it and think about it. But it almost feels more skeevy that they're like hiding the fact that this is a trans character.
I mean, cut all of this. Yeah. But that's the thing I hate the most. Like, I don't give a fuck if it's a man, a woman, or a trans playing a part. I hate that it's given to them so that someone in a boardroom can tick a box and say,
it must be.
I did this.
But like, it's also really funny that the Sith that had just murdered village people, the village people, he just murdered the village people.
Full circle.
And then they're just respecting this trans person's pronouns.
They do not.
No, they do. They only say they and their.
Very true, actually.
Which again, if it was an alien character, you could be like, oh, they're genderless, and like, or like, it would make sense in universe. But this is like they're very humanoid.
This is like a brown dude with dreadlocks.
Yeah. Again, it's stupid. I should cut this because it doesn't fucking matter. I might keep it in. I don't know. But
anyway, Baris goes against her Inquisitor overlord.
Yes, Baris is like, no, come on, join us because we're the good guys. We promise.
We can give you a home, a path.
And they're like, oh, okay, fine, whatever. Get stabbed in the back because, of course, like you see it coming.
Not even like a cool like scene where like Lynn like stabs in the back. We did see a little bit of blood,
slash.
but it's just like,
yeah.
And it's like, oh.
Baris pushes her over the edge. of the cliff, and then Baris disappears.
No, she puts her hand on the Jedi and says, "I can save you."
Oh yeah, let's get out of here. But like they leave, and then you're like, oh, Lynn isn't dead probably because you didn't see a body. And then the third episode, possibly the dumbest of all of them.
Yes.
Although
and so quick.
The Morgan Elsbeth ones were so dumb, but this one felt extra dumb, I guess, because I was moderately interested in the first episode. So I'm like, oh, let's see where this Baris character goes. And then they cut from her in her prime to, oh, she's an old lady now, she's a healer, and oh, she's dead now.
Yeah.
Like, they kill her so fucking quickly. Because again, it's a 10-minute episode. They're not even vignettes. Vignettes are good. This is like, she just does nothing. She has a little spiel about how the Jedi of old weren't great, and I guess the Empire isn't great either. And it's like, oh, but no, we'd figure that out. Like, you didn't need to monologue about it, but sure, Star Wars fans are fucking idiots, I guess. She rescues the family, and then she literally tries to save Lynn, the evil other Inquisitor, and then gets stabbed.
But she does kind of save her through dying.
Yeah, Lynn is suddenly like, oh, I
it.
can't leave.
Yeah.
Even though if this is so, we don't even know where in the future this is. This could be further.
This could be a week after she saved that other Jedi, and she's like
just
drained.
Very wrinkly.
Yeah.
You had an interesting point. You thought that if she's force healing people, which is again only Rey Skywalker has ever used that on screen.
Yeah.
But if Baris learned how to force heal, maybe she's all wrinkly because she has been giving away a bunch of life force.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that could explain it, because Lynn looks exactly the fucking same.
Yes.
And Baris looks old.
But then again, she could just be some kind of alien that doesn't age.
But we do have a positive on this show. The show is dog shit, but I think we both like the art style.
Yeah, sometimes it looks so beautiful and crisp.
Like, this is like wallpaper
Like, you're
generator.
like, whoa.
Like,
and at some points, I was like, if you told me that was a scene from a movie, like, and that was a person, I think I'd kind of believe you.
yeah, when it's contrasty enough. Like, if you're watching this on your phone, I reckon you could be like, yes, these are real people, whenever they're not fully close-ups. I don't know what it is about Lynn, but I reckon Lynn looked really good.
Yeah,
like,
I think it was because she had human proportions to her face, to her alien face.
Yeah, because her eyes were much smaller, whereas Baris and everyone else looks kind of ridiculous. Everyone else has very angular jawlines and a little bit closer to Rebels.
Lynn wears like a weird like face kind of sculptor.
What were you calling it? The peasant hat?
Oh yeah, she wears like a peasant cap. But it kind of frames her face a bit.
Yeah,
and her normal shaped eyes and like her eyebrow movement helps a lot.
The show looks very good. I'm very happy with the art style. I want them to continue it, but I want them to do like actually good stories. Like, is that so hard?
No.
Like, I mean, ultimately writing. Also, different people wrote different episodes. And
I
this
think the
isn't like a
first
Love,
three
Death,
had
and
the same writer, but then all of these, like the Morgan Elsbeth episode had the same writer, but all the Baris episodes had different writers.
This is a napkin script at most.
But I'm like, how do you have a different writer for the same
yeah, it's like a different writer,
story.
different director, and then just Filoni.
But I'd probably rate this show a 2 out of 10.
I don't even know how to rate it, because like,
I only rate
so
it
boring.
because I like the subject matter. That's 1 point.
Yep.
Star Wars, and I like the art style. In parts, sometimes the walking cycles looked a bit like a Fortnite character, just being like,
yeah, it's like he definitely feels like they saved money occasionally by like just setting it to the automatic action or like the filler action. But most of this is pointless, and I can't recommend you watch any of it, to be honest.
No, don't watch this.
Like,
don't
maybe Baris's first episode, if you just want to see that the show looks pretty.
Yeah.
Because then you can just pretend she was an Inquisitor forever. I don't know. There's just no reason to watch.
You know, I'd watch episode 3 and episode 4 of these.
That's
so I'd watch
Elsbeth.
Morgan Elsbeth last episode, just so you.
But that has nothing in it.
But it's the only lore implicit episode, because you see what she's doing and how she gets recruited by Thrawn, and the 4th episode because you see how she becomes an Inquisitor, and it's interesting. There's the only 2. I'd say save that for a 30-minute bus ride you have. Watch those 2.
Yep.
And you're done.
Wash your hands of this. If you're very bored.
Wash your hands of this dog shit.
Don't binge these. There's no point.
No. Tell us what you thought of it, actually.
Watch what we thought of Ahsoka.
Yes, rewatch our Ahsoka and watch the last video that Daniel did on the season finale of Bad Batch.
Please do both of those things.
Bye.
Thank you for watching.